You're now listening to Sound Talent Media. Check out more shows at soundtalentmedia.com.
When you think about businesses that are selling through the roof, like Skims or Allbirds, sure, you think about a great product, a cool brand, and great marketing. But an often overlooked secret is actually the businesses behind the business, making selling and for shoppers buying simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. It's home of ShopPay, the #1 checkout in the world. You can use it to boost conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts going abandoned and way more sales going through to checkout. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout Allbirds uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/income, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/income to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/income.
Raise the rudders! Raise the sails! Raise the sails!
Captain, an unidentified ship is approaching. Over.
Roger. Wait, is that an Enterprise sales solution?
Reach sales professionals, not professional sailors. With LinkedIn ads, you can target the right people by industry, job title, and more. Start converting your B2B audience today. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Get started today at linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
Well, if we aren't here again. And by here again, I mean needing to record an intro in not the shred shed. Oh, here comes a car. Maybe you can hear that. This is a weird one to be recording an intro not in the shred shed, because this is actually a pretty big episode here. It kind of snuck up on me a little bit. But this is episode 500. Episode 500 of the Tone Mob podcast. I can't hardly believe it. This is crazy. You know, you just put your head down and you kind of just keep doing the thing week after week. Just keep putting them out, keep cranking them out. And now we're at 500 episodes. So between 500 episodes of Tone Mob and about 503-ish episodes of Chasing Tone. I haven't been on all of those, but I've been on like 90% of them since episode 100, maybe 95% of them. And the 43 episodes of Tape Spaghetti, there is a lot of me blabbering about musically adjacent content on the internet, and I thank you all for letting me do that. This is it's truly an honor to be able to get to do this and have people listen and tune in, you know, here a decade later. This is just crazy. So I didn't get any, crazy David Gilmour type of thing prepped for this episode 500. I just kind of kept at it and kept doing it. And I do have some really amazing guests lined up for later this year. But today I'm talking to my dude, Henri Cash of Starcrawler. And what's really nice about this episode is not only is Henri a great guy, a very talented guitarist, and a gear hound, but this is a little bit of return to roots a bit. As a lot of you know, the show has started, or had started rather, as a gear show, and eventually evolved into just a more of about the person type of show, more just conversation-based show. And if gear ends up being the topic, well, then that's what we dive into. But often it just isn't, and I'm not going to force anything that doesn't feel like it's not going to be a natural, part of the conversation. And this one was a little different because Henri and I dove right into the gear and we didn't really come up for air. So I thought that was rather fitting for episode 500. If you don't know Henri, go check him out on the interwebs at the links in the show notes or wherever the words are. And check out his band Starcrawler and Plague Vendor, also a great band. He has the coolest names for his projects. I love it. Yeah, all the links for all the Henri Cash stuff will be where the words are. And thank you all so much for making this possible. If you guys hadn't been tuning in, then definitely would never have gotten to episode 500 and all these thousands of hours of content that I've put out over the years. So thank you all so much. And without further ado, let's get into this one with my dude, Henri Cash. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Tone Mob Podcast, the show about guitar stuff, occasionally, sometimes. I'm your host, Blake Wylon, and have with me today, returning Mr. Henri Cash. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me back on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you walked by at NAMM, and I was like, you know what? It's been several years. I've pretty much every episode of 2026 so far is like, oh, you were on years ago. You need to come back on. So it's just like a big revisit of past guests for the first bit of the year here.
Well, hopefully it's just as exciting.
Oh, it is for me. It is for me. You've had a lot of things going on since we last chatted. I'm not even 100% sure where to start, but I guess what I would say to all the listeners is, if you haven't checked out the first time Henri was on, maybe do that, and that'll give you a good overlay, because we're not going to rehash everything about his backstory the way we did on that first episode. So we're just going to take it from here. But, man, you've got all kinds of different things going on. Tell me about some of the projects you've been doing.
Ooh, so many projects. Mm-hmm. This last year, I've been playing with this band Plague Vendor as well. Mm-hmm. We did a lot of touring. We were out with Social Distortion and Ellis Dunes last year.
So
we've been recording. Been doing more stuff with Cash and Skye, which is my somewhat solo project with my girlfriend and other Starcrawler members. And then Starcrawler has a new record coming out this year as well that we're done with. And so it's been a full house. Every day is something else. And I've also been engineering a lot.
Oh, yeah?
Working at different studios. I see that Les Paul recording model in the background.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
I've been working a lot at the Les Paul studio in LA.
Oh, really?
Where they actually just moved all Les Paul's recording gear out here and restored it. Thump Audio from New York came out and they restored all of his, like, the first multi-track tape machines, the Octopus. I mean, the first real recording console. All that stuff is out here now. And ready for use. And so Starcrawler was the first band to record on that console and tape machine since it's been restored. But it's crazy to think about. Yeah. And I played it. The only thing that, Les probably wouldn't approve of was that I played a Gretsch on the recording.
That's kind of your thing, though. I think he'd probably let it pass. Yeah.
But they have his recording model there, one of his last guitars that you see him playing all the time. And so I got to play that. And, one of the cool things, seeing just how much he tinkered with stuff.
Yeah.
The bridge on his Les Paul is just something that he hammered out, just like probably I don't know out of what, but just every little thing, there's holes in it, just out of things he was trying. And I really love tinkering with gear. And my brother, Bill, who also plays in Starcrawler, he's been working on a lot of amps this year. He's been building amps. And so together we've been, me not so much on the technical side, but we've been messing with different circuits and stuff and really getting to play with different things. It's been really fun recently.
That's super cool.
Just trying out different stuff. Have you ever tried out those old orange amps, like the Mad amps?
I actually picked up this year. I don't think it's technically of the Mad amp generation. I can't remember the history of it, but I picked up a 1978 OR80 head this year. Or late last year.
How is it?
I love it. And I love it. It's its own thing. And I got to use the Boss tube amp expander because the cab I'm running to is like a early 70s orange vertical 212.
Oh, wow.
It's got like two 1968 orange labeled greenbacks in it that are actually cream, but they're technically the same as the greenbacks, I guess, from what I gather. And I've had that cab forever, and I was just kind of casually looking for a something that more fitting to go on it than the more modern orange head I had, which was a Rocker 30, which is a great amp. But I was looking for something vintage to go with it, and this OR80 popped up, and I'm kind of obsessed with it.
They feel completely different than the new amps, right? Mm-hmm. Or from what I hear, I've never actually got to play through an old orange or matte amp, but I've heard great things. That's been new on my list for trying to find, because I've heard such great things about them. But
it does the whole grindy stoner, orange amp thing that it's known for. When you crank it, it's loud. It's very loud. That's why I have to use the tube amp expander, because it would blow up that cab pretty easily. So I gotta keep it tame there. But it does that grindy thing that's really nice. But like hitting it with like an OD1 or something, it really brings it into that like tighter, chuggier territory.
Oh, nice.
But not like 5150 style. But just you can kind of see where those amps evolved from.
Oh yeah.
And then, but what's I think underrated about it is like the clean tone sounds really nice too. Just nobody ever talks about it. Yeah. So you just back the volume off, and just play like a sane person, and it's like got a really beautiful clean to it as well.
Wow. Yeah, that's been the fun thing about playing with different projects is I've brought out different rigs for each one, just to try to get out of the comfort zone of what I've been used to.
Yeah.
So in Starcrawler, I play through a Magnetone and a Vox, and then in Plague Vendor, I've been playing through a satellite amp and a Marshall and a old Tweed amps, just trying to bring out a lot of stuff. And then in Cash and Skye, I just have this little Vibrolux with like a reverb tank and a Echoplex. And it's just been fun trying out all the different types of amps.
Yeah. Amps, I feel like this might be a little bit sacrilegious, but I think they might be maybe even more important than the guitar. Not when it comes to like how you play, obviously, but the actual sound that comes out is generated by the amp. So
yeah, I mean, you could have any guitar through a great amp and it's gonna sound great if the player's great.
Yeah.
But yeah. And it is true that, the same amp, different people are going to sound way different through a different amp. Like, I was engineering on this metal record recently, and there was a 5150, and the guy was shredding through it. Sounded really good. And then I played a couple notes to the 5150, and I was like, man, this is not my amp. This is... I can make this amp sound really bad, but when he plays it, it sounds great.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And the same thing went, that same guy through a Tweed amp. Just didn't have Tweed amp with no Floyd Rose. He was hurting.
That's fair.
So
yeah. Well, yeah, I was going to say, I do pretty good with a higher gain 5150 style amp. I've got a Victory Kraken here that I think that has its lineage in that realm somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm not super familiar with the circuitry, but I believe that's true. I love it. But I've had plenty of Voxes. Oh, what's that? Sorry.
You ever hit the high gain amp with the Les Paul recording model pickup?
Oh, yes, I have. Of course I have. It's a secret tool. Yeah. It's secretly very good for that kind of stuff. Yeah. I made some clips when I first got it, like doing some more chuggy stuff. I'm like, this is like secretly a great little metal guitar. It plays so fast.
Yeah.
I love that thing. Yeah.
And underrated high gain amps, I feel like, are the Fender the Zinke amps, like the Fender ProSonic and the Fender Tone Master. I feel like their high gain sounds are really amazing, and I feel like people don't talk about them enough.
I've never played them for that.
Oh my God, they're so good. I have a ProSonic, and like the high gain is like full on Mesa Boogie vibes.
Really?
Yeah,
that's crazy.
And you could find them. I mean, there's a whole lot of tubes. You could switch between a solid state rectifier and a tube rectifier. It was the reverb's really good, and it's got a clean switch from the clean channel to the dirty channel, which is you could go from a clean Fender to a full on Mesa Boogie tone, which is super awesome. Yeah. Oh yeah.
And Bruce Zinke did those?
Bruce Zinke did them at Fender. Yeah, I think he did the ProSonic, the Tone Master, the Vibro King, and the Blues Junior, I believe, were his ones. And I mean, all those amps are awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they sound really good. Yeah, the Blues Junior was like the go-to first tube amp for so many people. Was the Blues Junior.
The two knob one. I think it's the Pro Junior or whatever. I don't know exactly what it is, but the two knob made in the USA Blues Junior is awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm just curious because obviously you are a gear nerd and you love vintage amps, you love tube amps, pedals, the whole 9 yards. It's your thing. But with the acceleration of digital trying to creep in, have you messed with that much, either touring or recording, since you do so much of both?
You know, I really like the Eventide H90, which is, digital effects. It's not amp modular stuff, but I really like the digital effects in there. My friend Patrick over there has made me some patches in it that do the magnetone stereo vibrato, and I could send it to multiple amps. Mm-hmm. As far as amp modelers, I haven't been that fond on them in live settings because I've toured with bands that use them and you could just tell the difference. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's something about the response that I feel like isn't quite there. It is, there's ways that people do it that can make it there though, when they use power amps and they are running real cabs. So it's actually pushing air. There's ways that you could do it. And I do really love the universal audio, just amps. If I'm trying to do a demo or something really quick at night, I'll just plug straight in and use a universal audio amp. But when you stack fake amps, it doesn't have the same effect as stacking real amps. Mm-hmm. Just like stacking frequencies, it starts to build up these frequencies that are a little bit harsh, I feel like. Yeah. I don't know quite what it is, but I do have I just recently got an aux box again. I bought an aux box years ago and then I didn't like it and I traded it for a Vibrochamp. Mm-hmm. And then I sold the Vibrochamp and then I got another aux box recently just for the same thing of just trying to get the amp sound really late at night. Mm-hmm. And, if I have a Marshall head or whatever head and having that here and using a cab sim just for recording purposes and getting the idea down. But I do think there's something really cool about just miking up a cab. But at the same time, I also don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I'm sure I could be fooled easily. But there's something more romantic to me about the actual amp. I don't know.
See, for me, like, I don't play out. I'm only here. Yeah. So they do nothing for me. Like some people I think get excited about like, oh, this new modeler came out. And if I was on the road, I'd probably at least give them a try and just see what I thought in a setting like that, because it is more convenient. There's all the reasons that people have listed forever. It makes sense, right? But I don't have to do that, and I don't get even slightly excited by a new modeler. Like, it doesn't do anything for me. There's amps that come out and there's different things come out and I'm like, ooh, look at that. Oh, that's cool. And I get excited. But anytime there's a new modeler, sorry, everyone at Neural, I know we're buddies, but like, it doesn't get my blood pumping at all. Even though it's useful, cool, has a place in the market. They do a great job, especially. I also like a lot of the universal audio plugins. I use a lot of the plugins for the same reasons that you do. And it's cool, and I'm glad they exist. But I think I'm pretty safe in saying I'm never going to be just super excited about a new digital amp.
Something that I do think is cool is there's some amps that just for me, like, I don't even care what they sound like because they're just unobtainable. Like a Dumble, I'm never going to own a Dumble, So like I don't even in my mind care what it sounds like because that's never going to be a thing that I'm going to get to have just because of the cost point.
Yeah.
And so I think it's cool now that things like Neural and people like Joe Bonamassa and John Mayer are modeling their rigs for everybody to use so that people can have access to what would it sound like through that amp. You know, I think that's really cool. But for me, and I love my vintage amps, but I only get to have my vintage amps in the States. And then, you know, I go overseas and it's just what it is.
Yeah.
Whatever you get is what you get. So I've definitely been at a point where, if I could model my rig and have it overseas, I could totally see the benefits of that and how much cheaper it would be than, you know, cartage and all that stuff. But it just hasn't come into play yet for, I don't know, at least where I am. I'm not on that level yet where I can understand all that stuff.
Well, one thing I'm really excited about, and this is like going slightly against what I just said, and it's not just because I'm friends with them, but genuinely, like from a tech perspective, it's interesting, is the new Wampler pedal head. I haven't played it yet. I'm sure I'll get to at some point. But Brian, he loves amps too. But he's also interested in technology. And so he got together with the rest of the team at Boutique Amps and was like, okay, well, what's wrong with the digital modelers that exist right now? And it's, in their estimation, the fact that they are kind of snapshots of a rig in a moment in time. And when you're playing a tube amp, it's never static. There's feedback happening. There's all kinds of things happening that make the amp respond the way that it does. And so they figured out, I don't even know how it works. Sounds like voodoo to me, but a way to have their what he told me on the podcast yesterday actually was, or on Chasing Tone. It's constantly talking. Your guitar and the amp head or the pedal head amp is constantly talking to each other. There's all this information being exchanged that you can't hear, but there's all this analysis being done in real time to try to make it respond like the real deal and actually feel like a tube amp. So I've never heard of anybody doing that. I don't know exactly when that's going to be public, but they did announce it at NAMM and said it's coming. So I want to try it. I want to give my 2 cents as a bit of an amp snob.
I mean, yeah, it's definitely going to be one of those things that's just going to keep getting better and better. I mean, the one thing that I do tour with is this like lunchbox size amp that's made by Satellite Amps. He has these Scamp amps, and he made me a Neutron head inside a Scamp enclosure. And I've carried that on so many flights as my personal item. And you could just go through any cab, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
So I think there's options for things that are just as big as, you know, your Kemper that you could carry on board on a plane and just get a cab. But I mean, there's something really cool about being able to snapshot your rig as well. And so it's cool that they're going into that and getting it down more. Yeah, the one thing that I noticed was the power at all these different venues makes your amp sound completely different. Every venue, every house gets a different power. And like at our studio, with everything on, we're seeing about 113, 114. And on a hot day, that could drop even lower, which is great for amps, but not great for everything. You know, not great for tape machines and stuff like that. But then if you're biasing them to sound great on 113 and then you go into a room where you're seeing like 126, it's not a great thing.
Yeah.
I love seeing just 120, but also clean power. You know, you get different frequencies in different rooms. I was talking to Buzz from the Melvins, and he got me on this Furman. I don't know what, but it's this old Furman box that they don't sell anymore that I've been plugging my amps into on the last tour, which cleaned the power a little bit. It doesn't do anything for bringing up or down the voltage, but it cleans it cleans it a little bit, so you stop seeing as many frequencies, and that helped a bit. But I wish there's these Japanese units, I forget what they're called, that you can see a certain amount of power every day. I know Joe Bonamassa and like the Foo Fighters use them, but they're like $2,500 or $3,000. They use them for hospital equipment, so that they see the same voltage. I really want. There's something with a K. You know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about, but it sounds like maybe you've never seen the brown box. Have you seen the brown box?
Well, the brown box just takes voltage down. The brown box
it doesn't take it up. That's true.
It doesn't take it up. So if you're seeing 113 out of a wall and you plug that in, it's just bringing that down even lower. Mm-hmm. And my problem has mainly been I want more voltage, or I just want consistent 120 every night. I don't want to see 110 and then 126. I just want it to be 120.
Yeah.
And this one piece of rack unit does that, but it's just very expensive.
I can see why it would be way harder and more costly to do it both ways than to just knock it down.
Hard. Yeah, it's hard to bring it up.
Yeah. You got it. There's transformers involved.
Yeah.
Well, not that there isn't in the brown box. I don't know exactly how it works.
Brown box is a cool thing too. I will say that you could just get spacing. What is it called? I have a few of them. Variacs. Variacs work the same way as the brown box. You can get a Variac for like $70 that reads like what the voltage is. Mm-hmm. And so it does the same thing as a brown box, and a brown box is like $400.
Yeah, that's
true. But a brown
true.
box is convenient on tour, and they're made just for music, which is cool as well.
Yeah, and and it's just a little easier for dummies like me to dial in to. It's just like, oh, that's the number.
Oh yeah,
put it to this number.
Yep. With a Variac, if you kick it, you can overpower it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a little safer that way.
Yeah.
I found, I wasn't sure about, people will hear us talking about this, like, this is hyper nerd stuff. And I'm like, yeah, it is. But, I have an old Silvertone Twin 12, and that was my first time plugging the brown box into that and playing around with different voltages to find it likes, I can't even remember. I think I knocked it down clear to like 109 or something. Yeah. And I was like, that's where that sounded and felt the best, which was counterintuitive to what I thought. Yeah, each amp likes different things, which is unfortunate. It would be nice if everything just liked the same thing. Another thing that I've realized is that speakers are like half the thing. Like, you put a different speaker in an amp, the speaker's doing a lot of the work. And so in all these situations where, it's like, bring your head, you don't know what kind of speakers are in whatever cab. Like vintage 30s versus greenbacks versus Eminence versus, old Celestion versus new Celestion. They're all so different. And I've really been liking the warehouse speakers recently as well. They're super cool. And then has the speaker had time on it? Or is it a brand new speaker? Unfortunately, they sound so much different. They do. But it's also a really cool thing because there's a really magical thing when it all works right. When it feels like a thing.
Hey, Rocky. What's up, Vincent? Did you hear about the latest? Latest what? The latest drop from Maris. It's totally insane. No, tell me more. Maris just released Enzo X. What's that? Enzo X is a supernova expansion from the original Enzo into the highest quality and most flexible studio synthesizer ever created in a pedal format. Whoa! Enzo X combines 5 synth types, 5 drives, 3 reverbs, and 5 modulations. It also includes a full 2.5 second stereo delay, all in one pedal. That sounds hard to use. It's not. The UI is from the same family as the Mercury X and the LVX. It's super easy to dive in and see exactly what you are tweaking in real time. Oh, I see. It's right there on the screen. Yep. Is it just for guitars, though? Nope. You can plug almost anything into the Enzo X, including your MIDI controller. That sounds incredible. Where do I get it? You can pick up Enzo X online at maris.us or at any of their fine retailers across the globe.
Did you just say across the globe?
They know what I meant.
Wait, are we getting paid for this? I'm still waiting on that cash money from last time. He better at least give us pizza for dinner. I'm not giving him his Enzo X back until he does.
For more information, make sure you check out maris.us, and apparently I have to go order a pizza.
How exactly do artists get their music on Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, Tidal, all these services? How in the world do you get your music there? Well, in the past, you had to use something called a record label. But these days, you can use DistroKid. DistroKid is the absolute easiest way to get your music up on streaming services, and it's the most affordable way to do so. Not only do plans start at $22.99 for the entire year, that's less than $2 a month, DistroKid also does not take a cut of your streaming revenue, unlike some other services out there. Even better if you sign up by going to tonemob.com/distrokid. That's tonemob.com/distrokid. One more time, that's tonemob.com/distrokid. You'll get 30% off. That's right, 30% off their already extremely reasonable prices. So go to tonemob.com/distrokid and get your music out there. We are brought to you today by Sweetwater, specifically the Gear Exchange. You may have heard about this. This is a place where you can go to buy and sell your used gear. Maybe you got a pedal over there that's just kind of collecting dust. Maybe there's something you've been eyeing from the Sweetwater catalog. Well, right now is a great time to turn that unused gear into something you're actually going to use. Even better, if you sell on the Gear Exchange, you can keep 100% of the sale as long as you choose a Sweetwater gift card as your payout method. That is not too shabby because, let's be honest, most of this buying and selling we do is just to fund new gear purchases, and that is a great way to reach a wide variety of customers and keep 100% in your pocket, or rather on your pedal board. So go check out the Sweetwater Gear Exchange and turn that unused gear into something that's actually going to help you write that next huge riff. I think speakers for the uninitiated are, I mean, it makes sense when you think about it for a second, because it's literally the thing making the sound. It's the speaker. But, you know, when I was first getting started and getting into all this, I ended up with, I'm not even sure how I got it, but I ended up with like one of those Marshall MG cabs, like the cheapest 412s that they make. And I got a Fender 75 head, and it sounded okay, but it didn't sound anything like what videos I was watching online and like what people were saying it should sound like. I was like, this isn't really doing that. So, I mean, I was brand new to having decent gear, so I took the head to a store and like just put it on different cabs and found one that I thought sounded a lot better and went from there. But that was that first revelation. I was like, oh, this particle board cab with who knows what speakers in it. I don't think they were anything. They're just some like Marshall labeled cheap speakers, you know. That thing sounded, I kept it for a while because I was like, maybe something will sound good through it, and nothing sounded good through it. And so, yeah, I just ended up trading it for something else. But that was pretty early on. I was swapping cabs out, and it's kind of why I like lean towards like 212s. And heads versus combos. I mean, maybe I'd have a different opinion if I was touring around, but I like being able to put different heads on different cabs and see what it sounds like. So I've always been a little more of a half stack guy.
Oh yeah, I love 210s and 212s and 410s. I really love 10s. I love the super reverb. But also I have the Magnetone Twilighter, which is like one of my favorite amps.
Those are great
stereo
amps.
one with the 212s. And that has the warehouse speakers in it. And that amp just sounds like the best Fender amp from back in the day. They're super cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's not a lot of bad amps. I mean, there is and there isn't. But like the PV Decade's cool. The little Gorilla amps are cool. Like they all have a thing. And I love recording tiny amps too.
Oh yeah.
But similar to, you know, each thing has thing that sounds the best on it. You just got to find what's the best for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's funny because, I mean, we've all had a tendency to do this. We're like, oh, insert this piece of gear here sucks.
Yeah.
It's not good. Just like I did with that Marshall cab. But, like, there's probably some application for it somewhere.
Yeah.
That it's, it sounds perfect in this particular thing. And all those old PVs that we all grew up with, all these solid state PVs that were just ubiquitous, laying around in people's music rooms and stuck in the corner of a guitar shop, and your school's band practice had a pacer sitting somewhere. Those amps sound really good. We just thought we had graduated beyond it. Like Chris Benson had a pacer that's like all beat up, and I have it here now. And he was like, "Do you want this? I don't really need it." And I was like, "I don't really need it either." And he's like, "Why don't you come over and play it, and then you can decide if you want it or not." And I plugged in. I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna take this home. This thing sounds good. Like it sounds really, really good." And so many of those have just gotten overlooked, and now we're just going back and realizing maybe Hartley was right.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You know what? I've been trying to find one of those PV Wiggies.
Oh,
you heard of those?
Oh yeah.
The Dweezil Zappa amp.
Mm-hmm.
The solid state with the built-in effects. Those things look really cool.
Yeah. My buddy Grant over at Big Ear, he has one, and he was showing it to me, and I don't remember why. I feel like maybe it needed some work or something. I don't know. I wanted to plug in so bad, but I don't remember actually plugging into it. But they're so strange and Art Deco-y and cool. Yeah. And yeah, I don't know if they sound good.
They light up like a car. I heard somebody say recently that, you know, there's like some recommended Dweezil settings that sound really good on it. But I think they were mismarketed. I don't know if they actually sold many. I think a lot of them, for some reason, didn't get sold, but they look really cool. So
they're almost, looks-wise, it's almost like a zanier version of what Tone King does.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's his name? Also, Benson's doing a cool little pedal amp head thing now too.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Or it's not like a head, but he's doing the Benson Milkman thing.
Oh yeah, he did do one of those. That's right. That was like a last fall, I think. Drop, somewhere in that ballpark.
I thought that was cool. He makes some great stuff.
Yeah, I assume I haven't got to play it yet, but everyone's been asking me if I do because they know we're friends. The 880 watt amp that him and Brian Sowers made.
I saw it, but I haven't got to hear it in person. I saw some YouTube clips.
It's so ridiculous. He called me right before NAMM, and we just. It might not be. It might not be.
There's a Magnatone amp that was supposedly 1,000 watts.
Oh, I didn't see that. When did that come out?
You could look it up. There was one of them a long time ago. I believe it belongs to Neil Young now. But it looks really crazy. It's like this giant amp with like a bunch of different speakers in it. But I believe it was marketed as 1,000 watts. I don't know if it actually, got up there, but I would be curious to hear the two amps back to back. I bet you the Benson would sound better, but
maybe, yeah. I mean,
I'm curious which one would be louder.
That is interesting because I was telling Chris this. The loudest experience I've had was at Sweetwater for Gear Fest. It was like the time they invited like all the media people, which was weird but really fun to be a part of. And they had the Marshall wall set up in their like performance arena thing outside that they have. And it was 6, I think it was 6 or 8. I don't remember. I made a video about it, but I think it was 6 Marshall full stacks. Now they had a dummy cab on top, so it was like 3 4x12s tall just to look better. Gotcha. But it was actually 6 full stacks at the same time, and that was absurd. Like I don't know if it like from a sound pressure level if it was actually louder than what the Babylon would be, but the amount of air that's just like swirling around you, like I couldn't hardly play.
It was weird. It was like felt odd. It felt like there was just like a light fan kind of pointed at me from every direction.
Oh yeah.
And the air was just moving so much. So I was like, I don't even know what to do. Like with all of this.
Have you ever seen Sun O?
I've never seen them live, but I know about their setup.
Pretty. We have the same booking agent, and they need to, when they advance those shows, they need to like make sure there's enough power in the room to power all those amps.
I believe it.
Like, and they bring in extra generators just so they don't, kill the power in those places. But I mean, at a certain point when there's so much volume, you feel it more. It can be used as a torture thing as well.
Oh yeah.
That much volume.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
yeah, Chris was saying in a video for Reverb, I haven't got to play it yet. When him and I were first talking about it, it was going to be around 700 watts. Mm. And then through some process, he really needs to come on here and talk about it. I'm sure he's getting a little tired of talking about it, but still, it ended up at 880, and he's like, people feel, so it's not everybody, but some people who have played it like feel woozy when they're done with it and have to like go sit down for a while.
I'd be curious. I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, I'm gonna wear ear protection, but I'll stand in front of it. Let's see what happens. I want to see. Oh, yeah. I'll see if I get woozy or not.
I hate wearing earplugs, man. It ruins the experience for me.
Oh, it does, but I need to be able to.
Yeah, I need to save your ears at the same point.
I'm already down. Like, I've lost a sense already in some capacity. Like I'm blind in one eye, and so I'm like very protective of the rest of my senses.
Yeah. Oh yeah, as one should be. Yeah, I feel like I am too. I never want to blast myself too much. I mean, I'm playing a lot of combo amps, but when I have a Marshall going, there's something about a Marshall frequency that could be really piercing and just hurt.
Yeah, I agree.
When it's too loud. Like, I feel like, the Fender combos, when you crank them up, they don't get those frequencies that just kill the highs. And
no, but the Twin does, though.
The Twin, oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's another one. When I first started playing guitar and I wanted to get an amp, I was set on a Twin Reverb. I was like, all these people play a Twin Reverb, and my dad told me, you don't want a Twin Reverb. He's like, you don't want it. And he was right. Yeah, I went to go try one out, and I was like, wait, I don't get it. It doesn't sound good. And then I settled on the Super Reverb, which sounds like light years better in my ears than a Twin. But for some reason, the Twin Reverb is way more popular, and it's heavier and way more of a bitch to carry around.
Yeah, Super Reverb is like one of those ones that's always on my list. Like the Orange was kind of always on my list for several years, and Super Reverb's kind of there. I like the casual hunt for things, if that makes any sense.
Oh yeah, like, if you see one, you're gonna pull a trigger, maybe, but you're not actively looking.
That's kind of how I am with like most things that I really want. I'm like, if it pops up at a shop and I plug in and I like it, like, cool. But I'm not going to probably like go hunt on Reverb and look for the best deal on some of these things. And I'm not necessarily looking for the best deal either. It's like, if one shows up and it's speaking to me, let's do it type of thing. But I'm not actively, cruising the listings trying to find stuff most of the time.
Yeah, I need to put a friend of mine recently put blocks on his phone to like Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist and Reverb, and I need to do the same. Because I'm like that a lot of ways too. If I'm like, well, if I see this at a really good price, I might have to get it. But then I know I'm into so much. I love drums, I love bass and guitar, and mics and outboard gear. But there's just so much stuff that if I see it at a good price, I might be and then I'm always driving around and getting all this bull. But it's all great stuff, and I get to put it to good use, and it inspires music. So it keeps giving me an excuse to keep going back, and it's a write-off. But
that's right. That's right. Yeah, it's a slippery slope because I'm kind of getting to the point. I'm not quite there yet. but I'm like, I'm having to be more thoughtful about my space, and I'm gonna have to like do some serious rearranging. Because I'm like, I already built this whole thing because of my gear obsession. I can't be adding on and building it up. Like that's getting ridiculous. I gotta make use of the space.
Yeah, well, I'm spread out between a few studios and friends, and I just have a list now of everything that I've lent to everybody, so it's still in the arsenal if I need it. But because I also I would hate to get all this stuff and not use it.
Right.
Everything that I want to have, like everything gets used. And if it doesn't get used, I'd rather lend it to somebody that is going to use it. Like, I think it's really sad that a lot of back to the unobtainable, I don't know why I can't say that, gear is like, I was talking to a friend, my friend Arwen was talking about, I don't know what the difference between a 66 neck and a 67 or a Strat and a 63, 62 necks are, because, to me, that's not going to be something that I could ever obtain. But then there's these super big collector dudes that have every single year, and they have all of them, and some of them don't even play guitar. They're lawyers, and, all these guitars aren't really owned by players.
It's so weird. It's weird. It's weird to me to like, even if I had that kind of money, I'm not going to collect anything that I'm not going to use. I don't really understand. I get it from like a purely investment like outlook. Yes. Like, I'm speculating that these are going to be worth more in 20 years or 50 years or whatever than they are currently. I get that somebody might want to do that. And I don't love it.
I think that's what it is now for a lot of people, which is kind of sad, because I think there's a real art to, finding a guitar that speaks to you and not mattering what it is. But unfortunately, back in the day, if you pick up an old guitar, for some reason, these old guitar necks, something about the wood, it just speaks more than the brand new instruments that seem to come out. And so, like, whenever I pick up an old guitar, it just feels so much better for some reason. I wish that wasn't the case. I wish you picked up a new guitar and it just felt like how those old guitars felt. But I think there's something about people playing a guitar for years that really wears it in a really nice way, where it speaks a little bit more. I don't know.
I don't know
what I'm talking about.
I don't know if it's just because it's mine and it's like my kind of the guitar that started my personal journey, but I have a 2003 Les Paul Special. It was one of the faded ones that they sold at Guitar Center, and it was my first electric guitar. And I've played it so much, and I was playing it in punk bands back in the day and dropping it and thrashing it around. Like, it should be more beat up looking than it is, but that satin finish kind of just hides everything. But every time I pick that up, I'm like, it's now getting to a point where that feels kind of like an old guitar to me. It is old. I mean, it's 20 whatever years old, so it's kind of old. But it almost feels vintage in a weird way. And again, like, friends have come over and they'll play, a handful of things. Like, what? I'm like, try this guitar. This is actually probably my best sounding guitar. And they're like, whoa, it is. Like, and I'm like, I don't know. Like, I guess, you spend enough time with something.
Definitely.
And you sweat into it enough, and it has been lightly modified. It's got the Billy Gibbons, whisker buckers in it.
Oh, nice.
And like a treble bleed Gun Street harness and stuff. But other than that, it's stock. And I don't know, every time I play it, I'm like, this guitar just feels so right to me. Like an old friend at this point.
Yeah, like, something about finishes. I really am not a fan of the polyurethane stuff. But, like, if you pick up, like, an 80s Skye or an 80s Epiphone, they feel awesome compared to, like, a brand new Epiphone or Skye. There's some really great brand new Epiphones and Squires too, but I don't know. They were doing something a little bit different back then. I don't know what it was.
an MIJ 1986 Strat is what finally made me buy a Strat. It was a Squire.
Oh yeah.
And it's right here actually. Look at this guy. And it's got the big 70s headstock, which I like. It's got the rosewood fretboard. It's all murdered out Gilmore style. And
the neck feels really good, right?
The neck feels tremendous. Yeah. I love it. It's great. It's such a good guitar. And it was like $600. And it just rips. So I never thought I'd be a guy that's like, I love my Strat. I'm the blues dad now, but I do love the Strat a lot. It's
you know
crazy.
what I do have? I'm talking about like old guitars are great. I bought this AliExpress Rickenbacker 12-string.
Yeah.
And it's badass, dude. I got it set up and it sounds great. Like even the stock pickups, like it does the thing for.
That's cool.
For how much that I'm going to be playing a 12-string, like occasionally on one song in a mix, like. It does the thing. I highly recommend that. It's like $300.
That's where the
part.
That's where those things are hit or miss. So Ryan Burke from 60 Cycle Hum got a similar one. I don't think it was a 12-string. I think it was a 6-string, but it was a Rickenbacker clone.
Yeah, the Chickenbacker.
Yep. And he said it was the worst guitar he's ever played, and he literally tore it apart with his hands for a video. He just reached in and pulled things out and got tools and just ripped. He pretended he was modding it to be better, quote unquote. He's like, let me fix this. And he just rips it apart. He was like, in his opinion, for that particular one, he's like, it was better for that guitar to not exist anymore. It was so bad.
Yeah, dude, this one's really good. Like the guy who sets up my guitars, this guy, John Westcott, he was like, wow, this thing's pretty well made. He's like, these are even better than some of the Rickenbackers he gets in.
That's so cool. I want to see that. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's a cool one.
Hello there. I'd like to introduce you to your new best friend, the Chase Bliss Audio Lossy. Lossy is a collaboration between Chase Bliss and Good Hertz. It's meant to give you some control over those weird digital artifacts that come with very compressed audio. You're hearing it right now. All the changes that are taking place are strictly coming from my playing dynamics. I'm just interacting with the pedal and letting it do its thing. In some true stereo goodness. If you'd like some more details about Lossy, I'd invite you to head over to chaseblintsaudio.com. I think you're going to like what you find.
Other than that, I haven't got too many new guitars recently. I've been trying to not buy guitars.
It's hard. It's weird that that's hard for us.
Yeah, it's not too hard, but it's a little bit hard. I haven't bought guitars recently. I bought a neck. I bought a 70s Telecaster custom neck.
Oh.
And then a friend gave me a Telecaster body covered in leather. And put that together. And that was a super cool thing. So I've been playing that a lot.
Is it covered in leather like Waylon Jennings style?
Waylon Jennings style, yeah. So it's copying the Waylon Jennings, except the white is pink.
Oh, man. That's awesome. Yeah. I love that.
Oh, yeah.
That again, I mean, I've got a 74 Telecaster custom. I love the neck on that, too.
Oh, my God. I love Telecaster customs. Some of them are very heavy, but when you find one that's perfect, they're really good guitars.
Yeah. I love them. They're just the perfect in between. Every time I look at it too, I'm looking at it right now. It really does it for me aesthetically.
I love a Telecaster.
Yeah. But I wide range humbuckers.
Those wide range are cool. I mean, my favorite guitar is a Gretsch, though. I have an old 1960 6120. That's my favorite, one of my favorite guitars. And then I play a lot of the double cut jets. With the single, I use the TV Jones Powertron Plus, which he made for Billy Gibbons. And it's like a more high output Filtertron, and that thing sounds awesome.
Yeah. That's something that's missing in my arsenal. I don't have anything Gretsch, and it feels dumb because I love Filtertrons. I love vintage Gretsches. My first vintage guitar that I was buying for myself was almost a Gretsch, with the Hylotrons in it and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And I was so close to buying. I'm actually surprised I didn't buy that guitar, but ever since then, I just haven't found the right one yet. Yeah. But I love Gretsches. I
think they're the perfect mix between, a humbucker and a telly sound, because they're like a humbucker that twangs.
They are,
and it's amazing. It feels like everything from like Brian Setzer to AC/DC.
What I really want is a baritone with Filtertrons in it, or Powertrons. Yeah. I do like the Powertrons quite a bit, but like a baritone, cool. 28-inch baritone, I think, would be just perfect with Filtertrons. I think I want to experience that.
Yeah, they do there's the Dwayne Eddy baritones that have the D-Armand style. Those are cool too. I got a Silverjet recently with the D-Armands. I've never really been a fan of the D-Armands, but in that guitar, I'm a fan of the D-Armands. So it's a cool thing.
When did you get turned on to Gretsch as kind of being, I mean, obviously you have lots of things, but I think you're known as a Gretsch player. When did that occur?
Well, I've always loved Gretsch guitars because I feel like they're guitars for like the weirdos, in a sense. Like, it's not like you're Slash with the Les Paul, like, what big cool guy. I feel like, there's like Billy Zoom from X, which is a band I really love, like weird guy that smiles. There's Poison Ivy. The Cramps were always like another weird oddball looking one. The Stray Cats are weird too, because they came out of like, the 80s and nobody else was doing that. And, weird blonde pompadour with eyeliner. That's a weird dude in New York. Malcolm, these weird Australian dudes, that are really tiny playing rock music. Steve Marriott, Small Faces. You look at videos of him, also really small dude playing a giant guitar. I just have always seen them, and I think they look awesome as a kid. I just remember looking at those guitars, being like, man, I want one of those. And then I got into tellies, and we played tellies on our first record, and then our second record, the producer wasn't as big of a fan of the single coil sound, and he wanted more of that Les Paul kind of thing. And I wasn't as much of a fan of that sound. And then the Gretsch, the White Falcon, just sat perfectly in the middle, and was the great negotiation. And so from then on, I just kept doing that. And I feel like in a mix, it feels really good in a mix.
Yeah.
It just sits perfectly for me. And then they just look awesome. But yeah, they're the guitar of weirdos. The Gene Vincent. I mean, yeah, their whole lineup is of weird people.
You're right.
There's not like a straight looking, like front of the road normal Gretsch guy or girl.
That's a good point. I never really thought about it like that.
Yeah.
You
New
think
York Dolls.
You think about guitars for weirdos, and I think most people would picture a Jazzmaster or maybe a Jaguar or something. But I said
weirdos, not nerds. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Nerd guitars.
I like my Jazzmaster though.
I love my Jazzmaster as well. Yeah. Jazzmasters are cool.
Yeah. But the Gretsch thing is it's interesting. And I was saying this on a different show. The White Falcon in particular. If you just describe that to somebody, especially like a guitarist who's never just say they've never seen a White Falcon before. On paper, it's like, oh, I wouldn't play that gaudy thing. That'd be ridiculous. Like, sparkle binding and like huge, like obnoxiously large and white and gold hardware everywhere. No, I'm not playing that. That's like too much. What what am I trying to do? And then you see one and you're like, but it works. Yeah, it totally works, and anybody could play one, and they look awesome. And I don't know how they managed to do that, because like, just imagine you take a Strat and you give it the same treatment. It's gonna look stupid.
Yeah.
It's not, it's not gonna look cool.
They've done it, and it hasn't looked cool, you know.
Yeah, it doesn't work. Like, it works on the White Falcon, it works on the Les Paul Custom, and that's kind of mostly it as far as classic models go.
Yeah, they were. I mean, I think if you show like a lineup of guitars to non-guitar players and you put in like a Gretsch White Falcon, I think a lot of people are going to choose that guitar. Maybe once they see it on themselves, because it will dwarf some people.
Yes,
the big White Falcon. they might think differently. I remember my White Falcon on my girlfriend looks ridiculous. Like, it's just like twice the size of her whole body. But you look at Steve Marriott or Malcolm Young with a White Falcon, and they're dwarfed by it, and it looks pretty damn cool. So
yeah, you never know what's gonna work sometimes.
Yeah. But yeah, that's why. I mean, I love all guitars. But that's why Gretches speak to me a little bit more.
Makes sense.
The guitars for Weirdos. Yeah. I identified with it. Yeah.
So segueing slightly, I want to talk about your production stuff, because I say this a lot when I start talking to anybody doing production. That's a term that I think most non-musicians and even some musicians, they're not really sure what it means, because you hear about Rick Rubin, being like, I have no technical ability, I just sit there and talk. And I don't even think that's true, honestly. I don't think you'd be around, you don't get to exist in a studio that long and have picked up zero anything, right? I think he's kind of exaggerating there. But just for argument's sake, you have that approach is very hands-off and more like vibey. And then you have the Kurt Ballous of the world that are going to like go in and like actually really engineer the thing as well. And all different kinds of approaches. What is your approach, and how have you developed that over time?
I've got to assistant engineer a lot, and throughout also making our own records, we've always worked with cool people, and I've had an interest in it from early on. So when we did our first record, this guy, Charlie Savish, engineered it, and we did it to tape, and he was showing me the process along the way. Like, we both got to mix the record to tape and perform the mix and move the faders and do that early on. And I got to watch that. And so I've always been just taking it all in and watching how different producers and engineers, twist knobs and run a session. And I feel like the most useful thing that I've learned is, really, instead of using EQ and stuff, some of my favorite engineers that I've seen just love using the mic and the mic placement, changing out the mic and where it's placed instead of twisting too many knobs and adding too much, compression and stuff. I think there's something really cool about just, figuring out what kind of player you're dealing with and then trying to figure out what mic suits that sound the best and moving from there. Yeah. But I think there's something really magical about when a band comes in and they've been on tour and just capturing that energy without making them think that they're in a studio. And there's something really cool about, guys like Rick Rubin that are just pushing for songs. Because I think in the end of the day, we do all know a really good song and a catchy song. And so I see that. I don't think the technical does matter as much, but I think not being too technical at the same time. I think there's a good mix, but getting good tones, watching, we all love old records, that's the records that we grew up listening to. So I try to, use the same mics that were used on those records and the same techniques because I want to sound like the records that I love, There's a bunch of new stuff that you could use, but I feel like everybody, even in like a pop sense, is leaning more towards the sound of how records used to sound more than the digital. There's something that just gets lost in the digital somehow. There's a good mix of both too. I hate cutting tape. You know, you can record the tape and you can record the tape and I dump it into Pro Tools and you could cut or mix in Pro Tools. I also don't like cutting if you don't have to. And it's another thing to get cool with your mistakes. Mistakes are awesome. You listen to so many records, there's so many mistakes back in the day. Now everything's so perfect. Every voice is tuned. Every guitar and bass is tuned perfectly. And I think there's something lost in that. There's something in imperfections that make things feel human. So I don't know. I mean, it really depends on the band, but I think just the best thing a producer or an engineer could do is just try to capture the moment in time of what that band sounds like. When we recorded our first record, I was 15 years old, and we did it to tape like that. And there was no auto-tune, there was no Pro Tools, there was no, cuts like that. And so I can forever go back and listen to that record and know that's actually what I sounded like when I was 15. There were no cuts or that's what that sounded like, for better or worse. And I think that's really cool. And it's something that, I'll get to have forever. And, I feel like not as many people get to have that, which I think, there's something about sounding like how you sound. The one thing that I do think really cool now is there's all these, everybody's filming themselves for TikTok and Instagram. And there's all these videos of people sounding amazing, just naturally, singing with acoustic guitars and acoustic instruments and without anything being edited for that. But I've seen that so many times too, where you see this like amazing singer-songwriter play and it goes viral and then they release the real version of the song that they record afterwards. And there's something lost because there's too much stuff added on that's covering up. I mean, I forget who said it, but it's a great song if it could just be portrayed with just an acoustic guitar and a vocal or a piano and a vocal. You don't need much to really show. And there's like a great rock band, you listen to like the Stooges or something and like there's a live sound and like, or you listen to like Zeppelin and you listen to all these bootlegs and it feels real and edgy. And you can't get that from, putting everything on a grid and tuning everything. But,
yeah, there was an artist, I don't want to like be talking too much crap on anybody or anything, but there was an artist that I found that was just doing the acoustic guitar and singing thing. And I was like, oh man, this sounds so good. I can't believe how good this sounds. This is incredible. And the same thing happened. Like I was waiting for the record and the record came out and I was like, sweet, can't wait to like have an actual record to listen to instead of like watching their Instagram stuff. And I was like, oh, what? Who were you listening to? Someone told you needed to do all this other stuff and like the magic's completely gone. Like I was so disappointed. Like the songs are still good and they're still talented and there's no slight on them, but like I was like the production doesn't show you. It doesn't show the person anymore. It's something else. That like sometimes an iPhone mic and you just being honest with the people is really the thing. And I'm saying this to myself as much as anybody else. Like I get caught up in all this. Put more on it. More is more, like Yngwie says, right? You sometimes less truly is.
Knowing when to stop is something really, you don't need to add too much stuff. Just like have it be the picture and then get out of the way,
That's also something nice about digital because I have accidentally added way too much stuff. And I'm like, I don't know. This isn't. I wanted to add 7 guitar layers to this because I'd heard that Billy Corgan did that, and this doesn't sound like Billy Corgan. Okay, I'm gonna go back down to 2. Oh, that sounds way better.
And
I can just do that.
It's really interesting. I mean, I love stacking up amps and stuff, and stacking up all these guitar tracks. But there's nothing more powerful than one left and right Ramones, man. Guitar on guitar on one side, bass on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
let it go.
You listen to those records, they're pretty powerful.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, Henry, you've been hanging out with me. This is good. This show has evolved over the years, and a lot of the times it doesn't, like, that's why the intro is the way it is, because sometimes there's no guitars talked about, despite having a guitar logo that people click on to check this out. But we've kept this one nice and geary for all the traditional listeners. So I appreciate you, because I just like to go wherever the conversation goes, and that's where the conversation went this time. So I appreciate you.
Yeah. Well, we had some good guitar talk.
Yes, we got.
The really cool thing is about all these boutique builders, and you and all our other friends that love guitars. It's a really good community.
Yeah.
People that are into this and doing this, and I think it's welcoming too for other people that you're not just joining or trying to get into guitar. Like, I'm always happy when people write me asking me gear questions. I love to help in any way I can.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's really cool. Everybody on their individual tone quest. But so it's cool. I hope this helps people in some way, or at least it's enjoyable to listen to.
Yeah, same. At least it's entertaining somehow.
We had a good talk,
Yeah, we had a good time. And we'll slide over to Patreon and see what other kind of nonsense we can get into. I got something I want to revisit with you, so we'll do it over there. But
sounds good.
Before I do that, I've already asked you the classic questions last time you came on, so I'll just give you the chance to take the floor. Plug anything you want to plug, shout out anybody you want to shout out. The floor is yours now.
I don't know. I did a couple pedals these past couple of years with Chris Vincent from R2R Electric. We did a treble booster pedal this year with reverb that went really well. We sold out of them. Thinking about doing some more. Don't know yet, but that might be coming up in the future if enough people want more. And then we did a big muff with my friend Desi from a band called Rocket. They put out their record. I worked on it last year. It's a really cool record. If people want to go check that out, go check it out too. Starcrawler's putting out a new 45 for Record Store Day that we recorded at Sun Records. It's coming out in April. It's going to be a limited 500 thing you can only get at your local record store. Other than that, keep up with the social medias, I guess, and there'll be more stuff always happening.
Perfect. And the links to Henry's social media and Starcrawler will be wherever the words are, since this goes out in 4 billion different places. I don't know what they call it. The description, the caption, whatever. Wherever the words are, wherever you're getting this content, that's where the links will be. So go right there and it'll be easy to find. Henry, thank you so much for hanging out. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yep, and you're welcome back anytime. Anytime you got something new coming up, we'll do more nerdery and we can talk about it. So hit me up whenever.
Will do.
Cool. All right, everybody, for Henry, this is Blake, and as always, folks, good luck and good tones. Hello, folks. We are back for this outro in the side yard using this elite iPhone microphone. I hope you will forgive me for not having an intro prepared before now. But, hey, I hope you enjoyed that episode with Henry. I really, really want to thank you again for making 500, and there's another car. I have the worst timing with this. I really want to thank you again for making 500 episodes a thing. This is crazy. When I started this, I really wanted this to be possible. I wanted to be able to do this, but I wasn't entirely sure how it would work out. But thanks to all of you, it has worked out. And I hope I can do this for another 500 at least, hopefully for even more. And thank you again for being along for the ride. Thank you to Henry for taking the time to be this guest on this episode. And, I appreciate you all very much. Thank you so much for everything. And here's to 500 more. Thanks, everybody. Talk to you soon. One last thing before we totally sign off here. I just want to remind you that if you do any shopping at Stringjoy, that's Stringjoy guitar strings made in Nashville, that will help me out as well. As I've said for years, I'm heavily involved in that company, and I really do think they're making the best products on the market. So if you would like to try custom strings, go to tonemob.com/stringjoy and check them out today. I seriously love what the team down there is doing. I help them out with all kinds of things, and by you supporting them, you are also supporting me as well. And hey, you need some strings, so why not get some custom strings just for your guitar and playing style? Again, the link for that is tonemob.com/stringjoy, and that will take you right to their website, and you can do all your shopping through there, and that will help everyone involved out. So thank you very much. Talk to you next time. We are brought to you by the wonderful folks at Gun Street Wiring Shop. Yes, Gun Street Wiring Shop. I've talked about them before. I used to say based out of Bend, Oregon, but guess what? Sean moved to my neck of the woods. Sean's in Portland. Sean is awesome and has helped me with a bunch of stuff lately. And if you have wiring needs for your guitar, he can help you too. If you want to get weird with it, he can get weird. If you just need to spruce things up a little bit, there's your guy. He takes all the guesswork out of doing your guitar wiring, and he makes it simple, and his customer service is top-notch, and I can't say enough good things about Gun Street as a company. I really respect Sean and what he's all about, and the product is top-notch. I've got 3 different guitars that now have Gun Street harnesses in them, and I could not be happier. So go to gunstreetwiringshop.com and check them out.